This video is going to review Unit 4 polygons for your Unit 4 test. So number 1 is asking whether or not this figure is a polygon. So if it's a polygon, it has to meet two criteria. It has to have straight edges and it has to be closed. In other words, all the edges are connected. For it to be a non-polygon, it would be like open, or it could have curves. So here, since this one has a curved side, it's not a polygon. So for it to be a polygon, all the edges have to be straight. Question number 2 wants us to identify the polygon shown based on its sides. So since this has 5 sides, it's a pentagon. So right away, I can eliminate the ones that do not have pentagon in the answer. Now it wants to know if it's regular or irregular. So that's our keywords here. So for it to be regular, it has to meet 3 criteria. For it to be a regular polygon, it has to be equilateral. That means all sides are congruent. It has to be equiangular, which means all angles are congruent. And it also has to be convex. If you look at this picture here, not all the sides are congruent. Therefore, it cannot be regular. So this one is an irregular pentagon. On this next image, it wants us to identify the name and whether it's convex or concave. So here there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. 8 sides makes it an octagon. So I can eliminate the ones that say hexagon. And then to check if it's convex or concave, I'm going to extend those outside edges. So if I extend them, we'll notice all these lines stay on the outside. If that happens, it's convex. They stay along the outside. So this one's a convex octagon. Concave would mean they pass through inside. So for example, if I were to have a picture like this one right here, this one would be concave, because if I were to extend those lines, some of them would cross through the inside. I like to think of it like they cave in. So convex stays on the outside, concave passes through the inside. Question number 4 wants us to find the perimeter of that rectangle. So here I'm going to let this one be the length and this one be the width. So it would be 2 times 7 plus 2 times 12. This will be 14 plus 24, which is 38 centimeters. Another way you can do perimeter, perimeter also means that you're just adding all the sides. So you could have also said this side's 7, this side's 12, and if you add all of those, you'll get 38 as well. Question 5 is asking for the circumference. When you're doing circumference, you mainly want the diameter times pi. But here in this picture, they give us the radius, which is half the diameter. So if you wanted the whole diameter, you would do 6 times 2, which is 12. So the whole diameter is 12 centimeters. So circumference is diameter times pi. So the diameter is 12, and for pi we use 3.14. If you multiply 12 times 3.14 together, that comes out to 37.68, which is 37.7 when you round to the nearest tenth. That next picture wants us to get area of a triangle. When you're finding the area of a triangle, you use 1/2 base times height. Now, here the base is the bottom piece. So this part right here is my base. And 4 would be my height. So 1/2 times 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 1/2 just means you're dividing by 2. So 20 divided by 2 comes out to 10 units. And remember, anytime you're doing area, your units are squared. This next question, we have a little formula chart. It's for our angles. they want the measure of one interior angle of a hexagon. So when you're finding the sum of the interior angles, you use n minus 2 times 180. But if you want one of those, you have to put over n, because you're going to divide by the number of sides to get each individual angle. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 6 for n, because that's my number of sides. So I'm going to do 6 minus 2 times 180 divided by 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we're doing 4 times 180 divided by 6. 4 times 180 is 720. And if you divide that by 6, it comes out to 120 degrees. So here, since it said one interior angle, we had to divide that sum by n. Question 8 wants the sum of the exterior angles of a pentagon. Well, a pentagon has 5 sides, but that doesn't matter. Anytime you're doing the sum of the exterior is always going to be 360 degrees. Doesn't matter how many sides there are. So if it says sum of exterior, it's always 360. This next question wants to know each exterior angle of an 18 gun. Well, the sum's always 360, but if you want each exterior angle, then you do have to divide by the number of sides. So we're going to use the formula 360 divided by n. And here n is 18. So if I do 360 divided by 18, I get 20 degrees as my answer. So these formulas I'm going to be giving you on your test. So just make sure that you're reading them. So if it says interior angles, sorry about that. Interior angles, you're looking at this column. The sum is n minus 2 times 180. If you want one or each one, you have to divide that formula by n. If you're doing the exterior angles, you're going to use 360. If they want the sum, it's always 360, no matter what. If they want one, then you have to divide it by n, the number of sides. And then the last thing we're going to review is applying this to algebra. So when you have a figure here, they want us to find the value of x. If you notice, all these x's are parts of the interior angles. So one way to start this problem would be to find the sum of the interior angles. And I'm going to use that formula, the n minus 2 times 180. N, remember, means the number of sides. For this particular picture, it has 4 sides. So I would do 4 minus 2 times 180 and 2 times 180, which gives me 360 degrees. So that formula that I just did gives me the sum of the interior angles. But we can also write an expression for those interior angles. So I can actually take all these interior angles and add them up together, the ones I see in the picture. So the 2x minus 12, the 3x plus 2, the x plus 30, and the x minus 10. So I'm going to add all these together to get the sum of the angles that are in the inside. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So I get 7x. Negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10, plus 30 is 20, minus 10 is a positive 10. So this 7x plus 10 and this 360 both represent the sum of those angles on the inside, on the interior. So what I can do now is I can write an equation. I can set 7x plus 10 equal to 360, and I can solve for x. So here, if I'm solving for x, my 7 and x are stuck. So I would start by doing minus 10 to both sides. Next, to get rid of the 7, since they're multiplying, I would divide 7. So for x, I get 50 as my answer. Again, this video is to review for your Unit 4 test. Use it to help you study.